said with regards to the peculiar nature of women. When you're talking about the physiological makeup of women, there are other things apart from maybe breastfeeding and the rest of it, which should be taken cognizance of. And there should be special for them. So I'm just adding to it that our makeups are different and we have special needs which should be taken care of. And of course, the correctional facility and custody should be.
So we'll go right into the experience sharing on the process of development. Ministry of Justice, Lagos State. We all know that Lagos is a special case. It's a special state. We have had the privilege of reviewing the acts, and we also had the privilege of we talked to the Director of Community Service, along with one of the directors in my department too. We were privileged to attend the initial draft of the model. So we've been able to use that together with the act. And but you see, Lagos, you know that when Lagos will do their own law, it will not just be a photocopy of cut and paste. So we're really taking our time. We're also trying to look at what operates in other clients. And more particularly, we are looking at the challenges that Lagos State has in terms of correctional service. We know that Lagos State already has the non-custodial service even before it was implemented in the federal. And in our stripes of always being the first in most things, we want to come up with a correctional service law that will be, at least we know that we have crossed all the teams and dotted all the I's. So we have a committee in the Ministry of Justice that has looked at it, and we have different ideas as to where we are going. So by next week, funny enough, we are meeting with the Attorney General to see what we are going to do to cause it. But the rest assured, that by the time Lagos brings out its own correctional services, you will be impressed. So thank you. This is one of the major reasons why we are here. Thank you so much. Maybe we do 5. Professor Uju rightly pointed out, it used to be in the exclusive legislative list. And when I became the AG, I noticed we were having serious congestion in our correctional centers. And I tried writing memos for the intervention of the Mr. Governor of my state, and he was always telling me it is an exclusive legislative list. So finally, in 2023, when there was an alteration, amendment of the Constitution, and it became Concurrent Legislative List, I think a sign of relief, because it has afforded me the platform to advocate for the improvement of our correctional centers. Now, immediately, I think Roland, this national idea is gone. Dr. Odanlade. They were very useful to us, and also Uju, my dear friend, have known way back. They helped me a lot. We convened a meeting consisting of stakeholders in the justice sector, judges, state councils, lawyers from the NBA, my humble self, SPAD legal, and so many stakeholders and people from human rights and what have you, and correctional service too. They were all present. We had the zero draft, and we brainstormed. We looked at the zero draft. We tried to make it and to adapt to peculiarities, the peculiarities of our state, and finally we came up with something which made a lot of sense. It was an improvement committee, and they went to work and came up with something good, which they said to us. Then my state, we have this standing Anambra State ANSEC committee, executive committee. We have this for law reviewing. So we now forwarded it to them. Then I told them the caliber of people who met and deliberated and reviewed. They said there's no point meeting on it if you forward it. So as I'm speaking, by last year, we had completed and forwarded it to, as an executive bill to Mr. Governor. But for some reason, he was too busy to consider it. And I kept sending a reminder to him. Rolla, Josephine, on and kept pushing and pushing so that they have done what I'm supposed to do. We have to wait for him. So finally, I'm happy to inform you that last week he approved and forwarded it to the Anambra State Judiciary House of Assembly, among 3 other bills. So as I'm talking to you, the Correctional Service Bill is currently in the floor of the House of Assembly. Thank you.
And then with the coming of COVID-19, which has actually struck us into some of the activities, especially community service. So while we were now trying to work on restorative justice per se, I think the issues now came up with the judiciary, which made them to set up a committee to see how they will draft a correctional service law. And this was started, which they have to constitute the committee, go to the governor, their stakeholders were made to be there, of which the correctional service were also called upon to make impact. So the bill that is actually being drafted now in Edo State is on restorative justice, which has been signed. But it is still subject to review. They are still reviewing it because the governor of Edo State then also told the committee that a correctional service center is going to be built by the state, and the land has been marked for that. So the committee are still working on it, and on that of restorative justice, it has been signed. We want to demonstrate into the ACJL of Edo State.
Okay, I do have some review. They have a committee, and the committee is made up, as he said, of persons from the drafting Ministry of Justice, but also legal drafting, but also they have, I think, 2 correctional officers, another 1 or 2. They have some civil society organization included, and I believe 2 other ministries from the government. I recall on 2 or 3 occasions I've been invited to Edo State. I've had sessions with the committee members in Edo State. They have brought out the bill. What I want to come actually was understanding is I suspect that that bill, from what I heard, is currently also with the it was supposed to be with the assembly, but I need to confirm that before we event. But I'm also aware that after the process, that the then Attorney General also said he wanted executive summary and to be able to present the same to the government. Yes, they have gotten a line where they said they want to build their correctional service. And I think that during the consultations, it was made clear that even the inmates in the custodial center in the state belong to them. So the question is, it's not there unless, and they have, I think they have 2 big farm centers in Edo, but the issue is for a way to look at the process so that in the state, it won't be that there's a disjointed process, but I just want to let you know that before we can, I'll try and see whether we can have confirmation in terms of where exactly at the moment that bill is. But I do know that that bill is there. I have seen it, I have reviewed it, and I was also part of that process. But again, I think we should clap for those states. Thank you. We looked into the review of these modern
2019, where we made one or two adjustments. And in one of the adjustments, we talked about, creating a separate facility in the state correctional service for the disabled persons. And also where we talked about the positions of the actors in the state correctional service. Then, at the end of the whole day, we came up with another thing, which we talked on the real implementation of the non-custodial measures, which will help in the decongestion of the correctional centers. Thank you. There will be a function whereby the ombudsman will liaise with the Ministry of Justice to ensure that they visit custodial centers we recommended a weekly visit at least twice a month. Twice a month to deal with review of all the cases. And I had shared my experience in Greece, where I found that there is a mechanism that they visit because they have designated oversight that visits custodial centers on a weekly basis from the Ministry of Justice. I've never seen that before. And maybe for some of you, just to let you know, I am a member of the United Nations subcommittee on prevention of torture with a specific mandate to visit all places of detention all over the world. So last month, I was part of the team that went and to see the Greek system and mechanism, and I was surprised. I had never seen that. Never seen it anywhere in Africa. They have appointed, designated, so each custodial center has the ombudsperson for that custodial center. And every week, they go, so if you see 15 today or 20, and when you do that, you cannot have the kind of backlog we see. People who are in custody, we just came back from an audit of all of some of the locations, and that's part of the challenge. So that's one thing I saw, I can remember. I know there are two other things, but at least these were the things that stood out in what I did last week. Was on the 29th, 28th and 29th. And after the moment, I have a clean copy of what they have reflected and I think we should also commend them. Please let's clap for them. Commands, not in charge of custodian. In United States, the 2019 Act has been normally complained that it has not been turned into law in the United States. So we always have a challenge, especially when it comes to community service. The judges don't always sentence people to community service, saying that since it has not been turned into law, that somebody could take them to court if they ask them to go and do community service and they challenge them. Now we do more of restorative justice in the United States, and we have been doing well in that area. And also in the area of parole, we have taken a step forward by the grace of God to the credit of the chairman, parole board, United States. Even though we are constrained with resources, she said we cannot just, that she has never been given a job and that she has not done anything in her life before. So she cannot just do that as a retired person. So she challenged us and we went into action in parole. So we have had parole sittings in Plateau State for like 3 times now. We have identified about 10 inmates that we are working on parole, and we have done 6 of them. We are still waiting to do the remaining 4. So by the grace of God, even this morning she called me. I told her that I was on a workshop. When I go back, I will continue from where we stopped last 2 weeks. So that is how far we have gone in Plateau State. So we are hoping that by the grace of God, the 2019 law will be signed in Plateau so that we can do everything that we are supposed to do in Plateau together. Thank you. Thank you. Just to let us know whether there's been more advancement on that. But I know they have a committee. I know that this same presentation I'm bringing to the committee,
I know also they have the model law and put in the PDF and in the Word version. And then of course the Attorney General said to me that yes, he actually had gone further. Before that time, he had had a contact with the Attorney General of Police State, and he had personally, on his own, actually worked on having the draft. So what the presentation did was to enable him to see, and he see, because he sat through all through that meeting, to see areas that they may need to update on. Again, I think we need to commend Plateau State for the interest, but we need to find out where they are. But he did say that he was going to do everything possible to make sure that that law is passed. Maybe, I'm sure the impression I have is that he wanted to do it before the end of the year. But I will try to find out where they are. So please let's appreciate Plateau State. We are standing. He's standing here. Yes, standing, because I know there's some work has to be done here in Kano.
So, what I would say now, the executive governor of Kano State has constituted a committee. So we sent our representatives there. So they are still on it. So we are waiting for them to tell us what they have come out with. So we are waiting for them. Thank you very much.
Okay. And they invited me to a stakeholders forum to review that bill. And they had sessions. So what they did was they divided the members, the people that attended the stakeholders into groups, and had members of their committee divided into those group work. And they had sections of the number from this number to number, the particular number assigned to different groups. So each of those groups presented their issues on what they wanted to change. So my role at that time was therefore to look at if there was anyone I felt there was an issue, I could give information and all of that. And after that, the document was cleaned up. And they had requested, because the Attorney General was not at the meeting, this meeting I mentioned, but the Attorney General had wanted me to come and present that to him and have some discussion before he was supposed to take it to the governor. That meeting had heard, I have met with the Attorney General, along with the chairman and some key members of that committee, drafting committee. The clean copy was presented to the Attorney General, and he said he wanted to now next to present to the governor to discuss, and that if he has enough notice, he will see whether it's something that could also be very common. But that is the much I know. But again, it's important to know what has happened so far, whether he has presented to the governor and whether that has been passed. But I think it is important that we appreciate Kano State for the efforts that they have taken. They have had two consultative meetings on this. They have had two consultative meetings. The last part he was saying he would check and see whether there was any need to have a specific session with the legislature in Kano State. But if he thinks it wasn't necessary, he would just be straight from the governor and then be submit to the state assembly. But again, we need to find out the status. Let's clap again for Kano State. Adamawa? Is anybody from Adamawa here? Adamawa? Not here. Okay, for Adamawa, I was invited to, first it was a town hall meeting. That town hall meeting held at the guest house of the American University, Yola. That town hall meeting was on non-custodial. But second part of the day, I was asked to make exactly the same presentation. And after the presentation, I had a side meeting with the members of the Adamawa State Drafting Committee on the State Correctional Service. So I have had that meeting, so I know they have a committee. But I'm yet to see the product from that committee. I don't know whether they have gone too far. So we need to know the status from Adamawa, the status from Kano, the status from Edo. I think so. Yeah. So yes, I think that's the status. Yeah, but I don't know. I was wondering whether there's anybody here who had any questions for at least the one that I hear. is obvious that the way this is going, it is going on the route of having as a proceeding as an executive bill. That's what we see, because definitely on the state. But I don't know, I mean, who knows, maybe there could be a scenario where somebody from the state assembly may feel, no, I want to push this as a private member bill. We haven't had that yet, I'm not aware of anything. But just to say, I give anybody, because one of the things we learned from the passage of the Nigerian Correctional Service and the process, because before that 2018 that power got involved in the, April 2018, before that there were several attempts to have the change in the Nigerian Prison Service law. It didn't work, more than 15 years. And somebody was asking me what was it that actually made this fact, because I'm not told that the Nigerian Correctional Service Bill, the Nigerian Correctional Service Act of 2019 is the second fastest bill to get passed. From April 2018, by July 31st, 2019, the president has signed it. So even to some people, they thought it was that earlier process, but it wasn't. The process that led to this Correctional Service Act was the one that I told you about, the 8 private member bills. So one of the major lessons I learned is that whether the bill is an executive bill or a private member bill, you need to carry each other along. If we act as if, oh, no problem, we will just do it. We can never tell, there may be some obstacles. So I'm just asking, does anybody have any question? If not, we'll just ask you to do an exercise of 5 minutes. And that exercise will be being together with your states, each of the states, with non-custodial measure controllers, attorney general, if they are here. Yes, but we still have to do. Yes, we have a question. No, they will ask a question. Just hold on, in case they have a question.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Right Honorable Dumle, Deputy Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly. Probably commend you for what you have been doing since morning. I took time to sit down here to listen to you. I'm a lawyer by training, and I know that if you want to achieve this thing, we have to follow the approach you have given to us since morning. The approach is practical. I'm a realist. I believe in things I see. Now, straight to the point. Yes, the question you asked, if there's any member that is willing or interested to pursue this course, for me, I'm very interested. I say so with all sense of commitment and responsibility. Things you talked about some of those things that are not in the formal bill, which is not in law. And those things the state should do. There were specific sections which are taken note of, because that appears to be an improvement on what used to be before. Yes. So I have volunteered before all of you here that I will pursue it as a private member. And to say that I came here on the instruction of our speaker, it means that we also have buy-in, because he's aware he is the one that asked you to represent him. So for our state, I'm sure that you were making reports. I'm interested in Lagos State because what we've been doing has been fantastic. So my first tenure in the assembly, I went to the Lagos State House of Assembly. I met with the clerk, and I look at those laws that they are made in Lagos State, and I took some part, especially the Climate Change Act. I sponsored it to represent in my state. So this one will not be an exception. I'm here, I came to them, I came to understand exactly what it is all about. In the morning, I wanted to make a comment. Sorry, I'm taking this one. In the morning, I wanted to make a comment. My comment was about why don't we have the police people here? Because they are the prosecutors. Unfortunately, sir, when people are arrested, they will end in the correctional center. But the work that we leave them there is not done by them. It starts with the police people. With respect to the police institution, I thing there is their findings and the DPP for DPP advice. What the DPP advice, they are simply saying, Ministry of Justice, give us legal opinion whether this person has a case to answer or not. If the person has a case to answer, if there's a criminal case against the person, take the person to court. If the person is granted bail, the person will perfect bail and go home with, for example, Shoti and be coming from his house to answer to his case in court. That is another way of decongesting the correction center. But when one file will be on the table of one lawyer at the Ministry of Justice for months, for years sometimes, and they are not doing anything about it, and they will take the image from correction center to court. They will call their matter, they will say, they will enter appearance, they will say, legal opinion is not correct. They will take the person back again like that. So for me, it's a holistic thing that all of us must continue to brainstorm, sit down, and do that which we are supposed to do. Because, to be very honest with you, most of the presentation you did today, I would like to have them some topic, because the answers to the problem we have, it means you have practical knowledge about what is happening. Thank you for this. What we were trying to achieve here was to have the State Assembly, the correctional people, the Ministry of Justice, just to discuss, because a lot of states are not doing anything yet on this. We will make available the model correctional service law, model as, because it's just like I covered previously, but you need to have your committee tracking, and also in Word. Why we're using Word versions that you can actually, instead of you typing it all over again, you make that available. Then make sure you consult well, use your people, check what doesn't work for you, take what works for you. And I think that, as I said, every state is different, but there are things that are common across the board. Some people also have, they're worried, how are we going to meet the cost of this? I tell you, if we do the needful, there's no need to bother about the cost, because you see that this will already be taken into consideration in terms of the model. And more of this will be discussed tomorrow. So let's clap for all our efforts. Thank you very much. The states have been doing much. This clap is for Lagos State, it's for Anambra State, it's for Abia, it's for Adamawa, it's for Edo, it's for Plateau, it's for Kano. And then I'm sure that it's for Ebonyi.
The centers for make serious provision for reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of offenders. And the only difference is the sharing formula. Because when she was taking us on that earlier today, she was making mention of 50, 10, 10, 10. In a point, our sharing formula is 50, 20, 20, 10. The offender goes home at the end of the time with 50% of whatever thing that was saved for him. Then 20% will go to the government in form of revenue. Then the state will use, the correctional service center will use 20% in feeding him, and then the remaining 10% will go to the correctional service center. And while an offender, while serving, if he shows a new leaf, he will be set free and reintegrated back to the society. And this law was passed under the leadership of the Right Honorable Speaker that is here with us. He is presently outside, he will soon be here. Thank you very much.
Yes, we have said some, there's some that have not been said. I find that, like this is the lesson I've learned, that in doing this process of trying to pass the law, there's so much sensitivity, so much different meetings you need to have, meeting before the meeting, during the meeting after the meeting. But okay, and then you'll be able to identify your stakeholders map, the spoilers and those you need to carry along and the rest of that. Okay? So please, if you are just 5 minutes exercise and we close for today, and then we have, or maybe we can actually give it as an assignment. Can you look at your agenda? We Yes. So what if you can together, that's people from your state. You need to look at their families. Talking about identify issues that, but first of all, we look at the what about the identification of issues requiring agreement and synergy with the federal level ministries, departments, and agencies. But what I'm also encouraging you so that, because this is about dialogue, what is it that you want to have that discussion with the federal versus the state? So if you can come together, then maybe tomorrow, after the recap, we'll first deal with that. I don't know, would that be okay? And I will encourage you, I don't know which earl of you, I do have all the copies of the model law, and we'll try to create something like a platform if we can, so that we can send you hard copy. I will send you also the copy of this, send you, more importantly, the model law, also the act, the Nigerian Correctional Service, you will also have it. That one is easy to get also online. All the people from your state, please try to meet together. The Ministry of Justice, the people from the state legislature, the correctional service, both the controller and the charge non-custodian, come together to do this so that you'll be able to reflect the peculiarity of your own state. I think that will be fair to stop at this moment. Okay, so that you can rest. Those who have let's do that. But please don't. You have to want to say something, sir. Okay. Please. You want to say something? No. Okay, I'll give you. So you respond so that they can go. But you do the assignment tomorrow. We'll present. We will try and find time to make that presentation. It's important. That's we are defining how we can do this. And we will also make sure we have enough people from the federal, both from the Federal Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Interior, Nigerian Correctional Service headquarters, so that we can now apply intervention.
It's very common abroad in the United States. Inmates that can come up with bail, traditional release on their own recognition. And if you don't return back to court, you'll be remanded. They're going to look for you. But how are they going to find you here in Nigeria? That's a trick for us.
Don't come to court. Court will see you don't warrant. You'll be arrested. So the problem here is that sometimes the conditions of the bail is such like almost telling you they really don't want you to go out and you can't go. So but there is a tough discussion about electronic tagging. When you put a tag, you can't go anywhere, they will be able to get it. I also want to say to you that maybe I think tomorrow we'll talk about that. So please let's go. May God keep on channel. Okay, you want to say something? Whoever is from your state here, meet with the person. So what it means is that if your attorney general is not here, when you go home, you need to have that meeting. You can refer because he is on a platform that God is invitation. Referring to that and all of that. But it's a little like, we will talk about it tomorrow in terms of your next step. So and it may not be short. So maybe you will see me tomorrow, maybe it's not going to be him. So yes. Which state? We will check. Okay, later we will check. But my point is that you may see, sometimes people may come here and then you won't see them. Or maybe it's not there. But if you have their contact, can you call all your attorney generals to make sure, don't you know what is happening in Abuja? You in Abuja, you know what I mean? Yes? Yeah. No, Jigawa is there. No, not Jigawa. Zamfara is there. Zamfara. No, don't worry. Don't bother. But if your attorney general is not here, call them this night and say, are you aware of what is happening in Abuja? And then you can tell them, go to the attorney general's platform. There's supposed to be an invitation. Thank you very much. I need you to clap for yourself. You've been awesome. One, two. I like that clap. Can I tell you how I like the clap? Dan, dan, da, 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 da. And the last one. Da, 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 da. Tomorrow is another one. Thank you. We start 9 o'clock. 9 tomorrow. 9 here. Make sure if you are in this hotel, have your breakfast. If you are in the other hotel, have your breakfast.
agree that some of our inmates have admitted beyond their capacity. Even now, we know that there are some correctional centers that have admitted inmates that are beyond their correctional center capacity. Now, with the intervention